Hello and welcome to this lesson. For this lesson, we are looking at simultaneous equations. This will be my second lesson on simultaneous. I've done the first one for foundation, or higher students can use it to revise as well. Okay, let's go right into it. Okay, so we have these two equations. We call the first one equation 1. Let's call it equation 1. And the second one equation 2. Okay, now we're going to substitute equation 1 into 2. So substitute. We're going to substitute equation 1 into equation 2. Okay, so equation 1 is y equals x plus 3. So wherever we see y in this second equation, we're going to replace it with x plus 3. So let's go. So we're going to have x plus 3 instead of the y. Plus 3 equals x squared plus 5x plus 5x minus 2. Now we're going to tidy up. We move everything from this side to that side. So we're going to have, so that everything will be equal to 0. Let's use another color. Okay, so we have x squared plus 5x minus 2 on this side already. Now we're going to move the x. The x is positive here. So we're going to move it to the other side. It will become minus x. And then the plus 3 will become minus 3. So we have everything on one side, okay? You can have your all your expressions on the left or on the right. It doesn't matter. In this case, we have it on the right. It is fine. Okay, now let's tidy up. Okay, so we have the x squared already there. There's no other term that looks like it. So the x squared stays on its own. Now let's tidy this 5x and this minus x. If you look at this 5x here, you know it is plus 5x. And then we have minus x. Don't forget to consider the sign to the left of it. So 5x minus 5x will give you plus 4x. Plus 4x. And this minus 2 here, minus 2 and minus 3, that will give you minus 5. Now we have a quadratic equation. Now we can factorize. We need two numbers, and when you multiply together, we give you minus 5. And those two sets of numbers must add up to plus 4. What are the possibilities? Well, we know 5 and 1. It's going to be 5 and 1. Now let's check the sign. We need to be 4. So it means this will be minus 1. And that'll be plus 5. Let's check. So 5 times minus 1 will give you minus 5. Yes, that's correct. Tick. You can tick that off. And then 5 take away minus 1 will give you 4. Let's tick that off. So we're correct. Now we put them into two brackets. So we have x plus 5 and x minus 1. Don't forget equals to 0. That's a common error in the exam, so watch out for it. You have to equate it to 0, okay, to make it proper equation. So each of this term equals that. So let's write that out. Let's use another color. Maybe red again. Okay. So 0 equals x plus 5. We do it one at a time. All right. So if we solve for x here, so it means x is minus 5. That's x is minus 5. We do the same thing to this bracket. So x minus 1 equals 0. Don't forget you can have your term on the left or on the right. It doesn't matter. So I've done this one on the right. I'm doing this one on the left so that you can see that it could be done either way. So x will be 1. Now that we have the values of x and the two values of x is minus 5 and x is 1, we're now going to substitute the values of x into the equation. We can use equation 1 so that we can get the values of y. So let's begin. So if I just draw a line here, I draw a line here, I can carry on this side. So I will have when x is 1, x equals 1. We're going to substitute into this equation, equation 1. So y equals x plus 3. So we're going to substitute this value into here. So we're going to have 1 plus 3 because x is 1. So it means y is 4. Okay? And then we can do the same thing when x is minus 5, because we've got minus 5 here. So if we put that in the equation, we're going to have, so when x equals minus 5, equals minus 5. So we're going to have, we use the same equation, equation 1, we substitute x back into equation 1 like we did for the first one. So y equals x plus 3, that's the equation we're using. But x is 5, so we substitute that. So minus 5 plus 3. And that will give us minus 2. Is it minus 2? Yes, minus 2. Okay, did you get that right? Now we have 4 values because it's a quadratic expression. That's a linear expression, that's a quadratic expression, and we've solved a quadratic equation here. We're going to have 4 answers, okay? So here are the values. That's the first one. When x is minus 5, y is minus 2. And when x is 1, and x is 1, y equals 4. Okay, and if you test it, it will work for all your values. So here, let's check. When x is 1, 1 plus 3 is 4, so y is 4. When x is minus 5 plus 3 is minus 2. It will work for this as well. You can check. So when x is 1, 1 squared is 1, plus 5 times 1, that will give you 6, and 6 minus 2 will give you 4. So that's correct. Example 2. So we have this equation. So we call it again equation 1, equation 2. I'm going through this because it's a similar example, but this one is slightly different. I often get questions about, oh, miss, how will I do this one? So I'm going to go through it step by step. So we have equation 1 and equation 2. Okay, so from equation 2, yeah, that's for equation 2. From 2, we're going to make y the subject. We're going to make y the subject. So y will be equal to 5 minus x. Okay, now that we have that, we're going to substitute the value of y into equation 2. So I'm going to just use a short form of substitute. Substitute into equation 1. Okay, let's do that. So here's equation 1, which we have x squared plus y squared. Yeah, but instead of y squared, I'm going to write 5 minus x, because that's our y now. So I'm going to have 5 minus x squared equals 13. Now I'm going to expand this separately. So if I do that quickly for you to see, if I do that here, you must do all your workings on your paper when you're sitting the exam, because expanding this bracket in the exam will give you a mark in the exam. So make sure you show all your steps. You all know how to expand this. If you're not sure, watch my video on expanding brackets. Okay, I think I'm just going to skip all the steps here. I'm just going to go straight into it. So if I rewrite that properly, yeah, that's a 5. So I will have 25 minus 10x plus x squared. You can check that out. Now I'm going to write this properly now. I'm going to have x squared. I've done the expansion of this, which is now this. So plus 25 minus 10x plus x squared equals 13. Now we tidy up. Okay, if we tidy up, we're going to have x squared plus x squared. That'll give you 2x squared. 2x squared. This 13 is going to move to the other side. So you're going to have 25. Take away 13. and that'll give you 12. And then you have your 10x in the middle here. So I have minus 10x because I want to write it in the form of a quadratic equation. 10x plus 12. I'll just go over how I got 12 again. It's 25, take away 13. Then you factorize. When you factorize this, you're going to have 2x minus 4. Oh, I forgot to write equals 0. You know, it's an equation, so everything has to be equal to 0 because you moved 13 to the left-hand side. Don't forget. That's another common error in the exam. Make sure when you're solving a quadratic equation, you always, equate it to 0. Okay? So we have 2x minus 4. And you have x minus 3 equal to 0. So each bracket is equal to 0. So 2x minus 4 equals 0. Two x equals 4. So x will be 2 for this one, okay? Now the second bracket, if I do it on this side, x minus 3 equals 0. X equals 3. So like we did in the first example, we're going to substitute these values of x into the equation so that we can get y, okay? So when x is 1, sorry, x is 2, rather, x equals 2, we want to substitute it into here. So we're going to have x plus y equals 5. That's the equation we're using. So if I substitute x is 2, so 2 plus y equals 5. Then of course, y will be 3. I did the same thing. When x is 3, make sure you show all your steps in the exam. Okay. It's good to carry the examiner along so they'll know how you got all your marks. X is 3, so 3 plus y equals 5. And y is 2. Don't forget to check if you are right or wrong. Okay, so here x is 2. 2 plus 3, because y is 3 now. 2 plus 3 will give you 5. That's correct. And that should work for this one as well. So if I try the first one, x is 2. X squared, so 2 squared is 4. And then y is 3. So 3 squared is 9. So 9 plus 4 will give you 13. So it works for both equations. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.